But there's really only one option left now. If Reka tells my superiors everything she knows, and let's face it, she definitely will, then my only hope for lenience of any kind is to turn myself in. No, Hiro, you can't do that. There's got to be some other way, a way we can stay together. I wish there were, but if you knew what we were up against, you'd tell me exactly what I'm trying to tell you right now. That we've taken all of this as far as it can go. That there's nothing more we can do. That it's over. No one will ever know how deeply those words cut into me, how powerless they made me feel, how close they came to extinguish what little hope I had left. But as I stood there, teetering on the edge of admitting defeat, something rose up within me, something that told me I couldn't let it end this way. That any course of action, no matter how reckless was better than giving up without a fight. And in that moment, I understood with a strange and a frightening clarity exactly what we had to do. Let's run away from Fukuyama. Away from all of this. Right now, tonight, I'll go home and pack clothes, money, just the essentials. Just the essentials. Miki, that's crazy. We can't do that. Crazy? I'll tell you what's crazy. Letting other people tell you who you can and cannot be with. That's crazy. Wanting to get away from those people and stay away from them only proves that we are still sane. But where would we go? Yumi's older sister lives in Nagoya. She's got a big place all to herself. We can stay there for a couple of nights until we figure out something better. I don't know, Miki, if they catch us, we won't let them catch us. By this time next week, we could be on the other side of the country. What about our parents? We'll send them letters, let them know we are okay. Look, Hiro, I know running away is wrong, but I can't believe I'm even suggesting it. But this is a test, isn't it? A test of who we are. We've found something worth fighting for. If we choose not to fight for it, then who are we? What are we? Have you got a heavy coat? Sure, don't forget to pack it. I'll meet you at the train station in 2 hours. 2 hours. Leave it to a guy to give you so little time to pack. Still, we couldn't risk getting caught. Delaying our departure could mean an early end to the whole scheme. As soon as I got home, I changed into jeans and a thick sweater, then stuffed a duffel bag with just enough clothing to get me through the next few days. I saved the hardest part for last, writing a goodbye letter to my parents. I felt so awful. What kind of ungrateful daughter runs away from home without even properly explaining the reasons why? After a few abandoned attempts, I finally settled on simply stating the facts, that I was leaving home, and that I write them as often as I could to prove that I was still alive and well. I signed the note, I love you both with all my heart, then slipped out the bedroom window. Before I left, I turned to take one last look at the room I slept in every night for as long as I could remember. The room that, for all I knew, I might never see again. When I got to the train station, there was Hiro, a big backpack at his side and 2 train tickets in his hand. Tickets that were going to take us somewhere a lot farther away from Nagayo. Hokkaido. We'll be on the train all night. And then some. But believe me, it'll be worth it. I know someone who lives there, and she's the perfect person to get us through this. Her name is Tashiko Yamada. She's almost 80 years old. Her house is way up in the mountains. Miles from anyone, and the elders have no idea that I know her. Come on, I'll tell you all about her once we are on the train. So we left Fukuyama behind and rode off into the night. And though I like to say I felt nothing but relief upon making our escape, with nothing but excitement about the new life we'd be making for ourselves in the days ahead. The truth is, I was scared that Hiro and I were forcing ourselves to grow up a lot faster than we really wanted to. Scared that even if we were willing to sacrifice almost anything to be together, the rigors of months or even years on the run might in the end prove greater than either of us could bear. Though Hiro had promised to tell me all about Tashiko Yamada, he himself had only limited information about her. I met her not long after I became a deliverer. At that time, I was stationed in Miyako, up north on the coast of Iwate Prefecture. One day, I was studying some targets in a park when suddenly this old woman came up to me and said, "You are a deliverer, aren't you?" Turns out she'd been a deliverer many years earlier and could spot one a mile away. She left the fold in her 20s for reasons she never quite made clear. She said she'd be visiting Miyako again in a year's time, and I wondered if our paths might cross again. When I told her I was to be stationed somewhere else within 6 months, she wrote her address down on the back of this postcard. Told me if I even found myself in Hokkaido, I should stop in and say hi. Hiro, there's a huge difference between stopping and say hi and come living in my house indefinitely. We'll be lucky if she even remembers you, much less she'll remember me. She'll remember me, I guarantee. We made a very strong impression on each other, and more importantly, there was something about this woman, Miki, something that told me that she wanted to help me out, that she wanted to tell me things about the deliverers, things I never find out about on my own, It's just a hunch, Miki, but I think she's going to be on our side. And so we continued through the night, past Tokyo, past Sendai, past Morioka, until just as the sun came up, we arrived in Sapporo.